Hello, people.
Miss
Morning.
Kim.
Miss Q, Kenneth.
Miss Kim.
Nice to meet you, Lisa. Thank you very much. Kenneth.
Nice to meet you. Miss Ong. So, good morning, Mr. Kenneth.
Good morning, Miss Chin.
How are you feeling today?
I am feeling great. I won't say I'm not nervous, but then let's just see how this goes.
Okay, so let's start the interview, right? Good morning, Mr. Kenneth. I'm very happy to have you in this interview. First and foremost, could you tell me about yourself?
Okay, a very brief description. Let me tell you something I did not put in my resume. Let me tell you something which I did not submit in my portfolio, so it'll be more interesting, surprise element. About myself, I'm Kenneth, as you would have known, I'm 33. I've been in the magazine industry for a very, very long time, easily 10 years or so. I have an affinity, I have an interest in things which actually allow me to weigh the difference. I have an interest in things which actually allow me to stimulate my brain to think about the different situations one goes through in his life. That would be a very, very brief description about me.
Alright, looks young for your age.
Thank you.
Okay, instead of knowing you, we are more interested in your previous job experiences. By the way, how about your past working experience?
Alright, I started writing at a relatively young age, I'd say maybe 16, 17, when I was actually in Form 4, Form 5. I used to write in articles and submit it to the newspaper, the Star and New Straits Times and all that. And some of them used to get published and I was a happy boy. Some of them didn't get published and I was a sad boy. And then from there onwards, I actually got my SPM result. I went on to university, graduated, came out of university, and then I moved on to a local newspaper. I decided I want to try my hands in journalism. So I was working with a local newspaper called the Ipoh Echo for quite some time, alright, as a stringer. I used to cover events for them. And then I finished my time with Ipoh Echo, and then I actually went on to the Star. I was working at the Star under the motoring section. It used to be a monthly publication, came out every first Saturday of the month, covering cars, events about cars, prices, price lists, fuel consumption and all that. And then I decided I had enough of the newspaper side. I then moved on, took a big change in my life, went on to the magazine side of things. I've worked with magazines such as Flux, I've worked with Sparkle.
Sparkle?
Yeah, Sparkle. And now I'm here interviewing for Glio.
Then could you tell more about the Sparkles?
Alright, Sparkle. Sparkle was, my last job was with Sparkle. I was the assistant editor-in-chief. Sparkle was actually a magazine which targeted young ladies, maybe say from the age of 20 to 35. We worked on the theme of femme fatale a lot. You know, it was a very chic magazine, glammed up. We covered events, we covered stuff such as cosmetics, health, beauty tips, relationships. Yeah, so that's basically what we covered. A very femaleized magazine, if I'm allowed to use the word, yeah.
So I presume you know a lot about women, huh?
I choose to believe that I know a lot about women.
So, Mr. Kenneth,
Yes,
we would like to ask you, would you mind to share with us about your inspiration to write?
Okay, yeah, you were saying, sorry?
Yeah, as in you're applying for this post to be an editor.
My inspiration, this relates strongly back to the part where I briefly described myself. Okay, my inspiration comes from the fact that every situation in life, alright, every situation actually has two different perspectives to it. For example, let's just take a simple situation which is going on like our interview right here. Alright, there is the point of view, my perspective, my perception of what is going on in this room right now. And then there's your point of view, your perspectives and perceptions which are forming in your mind right now as to what goes on. So you see, from this one situation, there are already two different point of views. And let's just assume that there was an audience here in the room with us. Assuming there was an audience in the room with us, they would be forming their own perceptions of what I'm saying now, how you all are acting, you see, in the interview. So that inspires me, because the thing is, we move, we work, we live in such a fast-paced world, alright? We don't have the time to sit back, we don't have the privilege to sit back, unless it's our job of course, to sit back and relax and, you know, look at a situation which has happened in our life or happened in our country and take unbiased points of view from it. So my inspiration comes from the fact that I have the time to do that, I'm being paid to do that, So why not that inspire me to actually guide people along the way as to how to take a very unbiased approach to any situation that occurs in the world. I would say that is my main inspiration, the fact that there are many different points of views to one situation.
That sounds fantastic.
Thank you.
Alright, so seeing that you are in the have been in this field for about 8 or 9 years, so would you like to tell us where do you get the patience to?
That is actually a very, very good question. I'd say, where do I get the patience? I mean, it has never occurred to me, you know, to wake up every morning for 10 years, 9, 10 years, get to the office and start working on a magazine again and again. But the thing is, I mean, the 5 of us, we all have been and we are in the magazine industry. I mean, so you walk past your newsstands, or you walk past your bookstores, and then you see the latest edition of maybe, let's just say, Clio, or maybe the latest edition of Sparkle sitting on the stand there. The feeling which comes along with it, the satisfaction, it is priceless. So I'd say my patience actually comes from the fact that I love what I'm doing. I have the passion for what I'm doing. And that keeps me going on day after day after day, right till now.
Very well.
Thank you.
Interesting. Mr. Ng.
Yes, Mr.
So I've
Ganesh.
seen that you've worked with several companies like Flux, Star, Sparkle, right? So you know that, of course, different places we have different working culture and so on. Now, of course, naturally, we here in Clio would like to know a bit of your way in treating your subordinates, right? So I'm going to give you a situation. The situation goes like this. You're working on a project. One of your subordinates, he or she failed to meet the due date, okay? And he or she did not submit her work on time. And we'd like to know how you handle this kind of situation.
Okay. How I would actually handle the situation which you've just given me would largely depend on the reason the person did not submit his or her work. Alright? I mean, things happen in this world which we don't have control of. Okay? It can happen to me anytime, it can happen to anyone at any time. For example, let's just say the person had an emergency. I mean, I'm sad to say this, I'm sorry to say this, but then the thing is, let's just say the person had a passing in the family. Alright? Someone passed on, someone close, a loved one. Naturally, I don't have control over that. Okay? And it's bound to happen, we can't stop it. So if that was a reason, an unavoidable reason, I would understand very much with the person, because it would only be ethical of me to do so, it would only be humane of me to do so. And let's just say, when I go through that phase of life, I would want other people to understand what I'm going through as well. Alright? So if that actually happens to the person, that's the reason behind it, then of course I would try to help the person out. If the person is incapable of completing his task on time because of what he's going through, because of his phase of life, I would take on the job myself, maybe pass on to someone else who is not as busy as other people, or maybe I would just try to guide the person along with it. That would be if the person had a good solid reason. Assuming that the person did not complete his work based on his incompetency, then I would be very frank. I mean, in the industry we are in, it's so fast, okay, it's so high adrenaline. I mean, we've got to talk about the ratings, we've got to keep our readers interested, we've got to respond to our readers' demands, alright? We don't have time to be nice to each other. I mean, I respect people, but it's just that we don't have time to be nice when your incompetency comes in the way of your job, okay? I'll be very frank and tell the person that, you know what, all these magazine covers sitting here today, okay, all the sparkles and the copies of every other magazine sitting in the newsstands now, it is not because of one person, it's not because of one individual. It is there because of a group of people who work in a unit. They understand each other, there is a chemistry going on between each other. And that is why they keep on publishing magazines yet again and again and again. Okay? So I'll put it very frankly to the person that if his inconsistency is going to come in the way of the company's performance, I'm very sorry, action has to be taken. And if the action taken does not change the person, we will have to release him. Harsh reality.
So are you more of a task-related person or a relationship-oriented person?
I wouldn't say I'm fully task-oriented, nor would I say I'm fully relationship-oriented. Okay? I feel that I respect the people who work with me. Okay? I respect the people who are working above me, my superiors. I respect those working below me, my subordinates. And I feel that people tend to work better when we are working together as friends rather than colleagues. Okay? Because we understand each other better. There's a better chemistry going on between each other, and it saves a lot of time. Okay? But on that part, I would say I like relationships. Okay? But if the person is going to use the name of friendship on the expense of not performing, on the expense of affecting the company's performance, I would not tolerate it, I say.
So you're saying there's a fine line between work and friendship, right?
Oh yes, I would say there's a very, very fine line for me personally between work and friendship. But, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kenneth,
Yes, Mr. Lisa.
can we know how long exactly have you been unemployed?
I have been unemployed for maybe the past month, I'd say.
So, mind if we ask, like, what have you been doing for the past month? Have
No.
you been keeping yourself, updated about the latest news and gossips about magazines and stuff?
And what I've been doing the past month was I tried taking over my wife's job for once. Tried cooking up meals, waking up in the morning, sending the kids to school and all that. And quite obviously, I failed trying to be the mother. And that's why I'm roaring to get back into the magazine industry again. And yes, I actually have been keeping up with the latest ongoings in the magazine world and all that. Because I mean, as I've said to Miss Ong earlier, the passion is still there. I realized that, come on, I'm only 33, you know, why do I want to stop now?
So, your previous company was Sparkles, correct?
Yes.
Were there any particular reason that you left Sparkles?
Reasons I left Sparkle. Let's see. The reason I left Sparkle was, I mean, it was my own reason. Okay, I left it voluntarily. I left Sparkle voluntarily, and I was actually very, very sad to do so. Okay, because I mean, I have worked with Sparkle for quite some time. I've moved up the ranks. I mean, I was the assistant editor-in-chief. I knew the magazine and the target market we were dealing with, like it was, let's just say, a part of my limb, an extra hand. I could control it. I knew what would affect it, what would not affect it. I knew what the right decisions was, okay? And I knew the people there so well. I mean, I remember times where I could just scribble some note on some scrap piece of paper and throw it over to my creative director, and he would give me the most fabulous cover you would have ever seen, alright? And that was the main reason why I left Sparkle as well. Because I feel that I've become too complacent with Sparkle. I feel that I understand and I understood the company so well, I understood the things we were dealing with so well that I became comfortable with it. And as I've mentioned, I mean, I'm only 33. I easily say, what, 20, 30 years more to go before I call it off, you know, stop being in the magazine world. And I felt that I had more to give. And Sparkle, I love that, okay? But Sparkle did not give me the opportunity because we were only dealing with one particular target market. So that was the main reason why I left Sparkle, I'd say, because I mean I couldn't see myself developing there anymore.
Okay. So, why are you exactly interested in Glio?
Why I am interested in Glio, I mean, it's not because of the vacancy posted. It's more like during that month, I actually came across, the month when I was unemployed, I came across this copy of Glio and I was flipping through, and then I realized something very interesting is that you guys target each and every subculture that is possible in Malaysia. You guys have such a wide target market that it would be rather impossible to say that I've worked in every target market and got bored of it. I feel that the complacency level in Glio is considered rather high compared to Sparkle, and I feel that I have a lot of opportunity to develop. I have a lot of opportunity to grow within Glio. Because let's just say, I am in one particular department, I am in one particular target market, I'm dealing with them, okay? Just say I had enough of it, I can move on, I can move on, I can move on. It's because the vast array of target markets you guys target. So I'd say that is the reason why I was very, very interested in Glio. Because of how wide it is, I mean, you don't get bored or you don't get tired of something which is so wide because it's going to take a long time to cover. And I bet there are going to be tons of experiences which comes along with it. That excites me. That's why I want to join Glio.
One more thing I would like to know.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself more comfortable in an organistic or mechanistic working environment?
Okay. I would say that considering where I am now, alright, I should not choose one. Okay. I mean I should not be choosing saying that I like organic or I like mechanistic. Because I mean the need to adapt is very, very important. Considering that during one's life, we of course do many, many different tasks. We actually go through many different jobs. So it requires us to have the skill to adapt to different organization structures rather than just narrowing down ourselves to
But
one.
no, I mean like from your previous working experience,
Okay.
do you consider yourself more suited in an organistic or mechanistic?
Alright, I'm sorry. I would choose organic then. Because considering the fact that it's a magazine publishing company, creativity is important. Okay, we need the creative juices flowing to come up with a good issue yet again and again and again. Alright, so with an organic structure, okay, there's going to be less bureaucracy, communication flow will be way easier, alright, we will understand each other better, work each other better, and I feel that that would contribute to getting even a better magazine time after time, you know, and company's performance will actually go up, I feel, with an organic structure for a magazine company.
So apart from all these,
Can I add in a question?
oh yeah, sure.
So Mr. Ng,
Yeah.
actually you're applying for the position of the editor-in-chief, which is a rather high position. So naturally, we'd like to know a bit of your capabilities, right? So this time I have a question, another situation.
Okay.
But instead of me giving you the situation, I would like you to give us a situation
Alright.
whereby in your previous workplace, I'd like you to describe your biggest problem you have encountered and tell me how you handled it.
The biggest problem I've encountered.
Yeah, that's it.
I remember this was a total nightmare, I'd say. Okay, and I wouldn't put it on anyone's fault because again, some things happen beyond our control. I remember March 2008, the elections, right? We got a very late notice that the publishers were closing early. Okay, and I mean naturally, when we publish a magazine, when we come out with a magazine, we're going to have different time schedules. Okay, we said by this date, this will get done, this will get done, this will get done, and then we compile it all together. Things were done, but the compilation was not done yet, and we had to send it to the we had to send it to the publishers before the publishers closed. Taking into notice that March was actually the end of Q1 in the year, alright? We wanted to end Q1 with a bang, right? And the way we worked, I felt that was one of the major problems because we were so stressed. We easily worked, I'd say, about 15 hours that particular day just to get the thing compiled, okay? We got the notice, we started coming into work earlier, and everybody understood each other so well. We were all covering each other up. I mean, because of the, as I said, I mean, the understanding is the core competency of an organization. So the thing is, we understood each other so well. I knew what my creative director would want, they knew what I would want, and everybody knew what each other would want. So it was basically one group of us working as a family towards the same goal because of that nightmare. We actually came closer because of that problem. So I would say that was the problem. How we handled it is simple understanding of each other, I'd say. Chemistry, that's how we handled it.
Interesting.
Thank you.
So apart from all these, can you actually tell us, it is very critical for us to actually know where your direction, where you're planning to head to if you are being accepted to fill up our Clio magazine's chief editor?
Okay. Directions. I would divide my directions into two. Okay. One will be a short-term direction, a short-term goal, and the other one will be a long-term one. Short-term one, I'll set maybe 2 to 3 months, maximum of 6. Alright, my short-term plan, my short-term direction would be, I want to take a back seat. I mean, it's actually very wrong for me to come to an interview and say I want the job and say I'm going to take a back seat. But then, I want to get a total view of where Clio comes from. Because each magazine actually has different themes, different things which actually stimulate them to come up with different magazines. I want to know where Clio is coming from. I want to know where Clio plans to go. Okay, I would like to get to know the people working in Clio better. Alright, that will be a short-term one. Okay, and then my long-term one would be when I actually understand the short-term one better, as in I understand how Clio works and what we are targeting and all that. Then I would of course try to gradually inject my creative juice into Clio as well to see whether we can come up with even a better magazine and a better magazine and a better magazine, issue after issue. That will be a long-term one. I mean, it's a very general one right now because I'm not in the organization yet to understand and comprehend the organization to actually come up with targets. But when I'm in, I can assure you that you guys will be hearing from me a lot. That's what I assure you guys.
Right, I see.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Okay, alright. Overall for today, I think we are quite enjoyed with the interview sections with you. And I'm very pleased that you have done well prepared before you came here. It shows your patience and love toward this job. Before end of the sections, do you have any questions to ask about your understanding of the job?
Questions? Okay, I feel that the 5 of us here, right, we've reached a certain level in our career where it's beyond the money, okay, it's beyond the salary. It's because of the love for what we do. And I understand that, I mean, I'm sure all the 4 of you today, you guys love Clio, how I once did this project. So I would like to know Clio's directions. Maybe let's just say in the next 5 years. You know, I want to know what Clio is working towards, your visions and your missions. Where do you all see yourselves? Because I mean, I want to come in and I want to be of use. I want to be an asset to the company. And if I'm not ready yet, okay, based on what you guys are going to say, I want to be able to have time to prepare myself so that I come in and we can see performances immediately. So I'd like to know more about that. Thank you.
Well, on one side of things, Glio puts great importance in its people, right? So you see, a magazine doesn't work with one individual. It's a whole team, as you said, right? So we place a very high importance on people. So one of our directions is we like to create a really conducive working environment, and we like to see that the working culture here is different from your previous workplace. So besides that, since like new people are coming in all the time, so we also like to promote understanding of culture, right? So once they understand the culture, they are able to work better, and then provided with a good employee welfare, we can move the company to greater heights.
Okay.
Perhaps Ms. Ong, you'd like to add anything?
Alright, as for the external part of our Glio company, we would like to focusing more on the brand reputation, as in building up our brand image. For like, let's say, when we talk about Glio, we want everyone to know what Glio is all about. Yeah. So that plays a very important role for the chief editor to maintain it all the way. So apart from not forgetting to mention, we will also be like trying to achieve our objectives as been set in the very front part of the year, like targeting our total sales, meeting up the sales, and so on.
Okay, so in a nutshell, as you know, Glio has not been in the market for more than 10 years. Okay, so we are kind of like the emerging magazine company as well. So we would like to, we have a mission and vision. Okay, we would like to make Glio the leading magazine in Malaysia. Okay, that will be our first target. Okay, but then also due to some unforeseen circumstances, we lost our previous editor-in-chief. So we are currently working on a project right now. Okay, we are planning to internationalize Glio. Okay, so we would just start small by introducing it to Singapore market first. So we were hoping that the new editor-in-chief, if it was you, could bring Glio into a whole new level. So if you were hired, do you think you can live up to the expectation?
I'm actually very excited considering the fact that you put in the word internationalize. I've never done that before. I want to be very frank, but I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
I'm sure it will be a whole new experience for you.
Yes, it will.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we really enjoyed the interview with you today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you.